everybody, I'm back again with another video. Hope you're doing well. Hope your life's going well. Hope this week has gone well for you, and I hope that today has gone well for you. Today is Saturday, April the 27th, 2024. It is about 2:40 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope that this weekend has been fun, productive, and happy for you. As for me, I'm doing good. I just got done moving into my new apartment and everything, but I'm still not set up, so here I am in the car again. But I noticed y'all like the car videos, so I'm probably gonna stay doing like car videos. Like, obviously I'm gonna set up my apartment and do some from inside the apartment, but sometimes I'm gonna do these car videos because it adds to the just the echo that your voice makes while being in a car. That kind of helps with the ASMR effect. So, and I didn't realize it until I started doing videos from inside my car that I'll be watching like other people make ASMR videos from in their car, and I'm noticing that the echo from your voice, from being inside of this car, this enclosure, right? It helps with the ASMR effect, and so here I am. I'm gonna keep doing videos from my car, and I'm definitely glad you all enjoy them as well. But yeah, today was real busy, and but we got everything done, and glad to be in my new place. Man, it's moving. It's always more work than you expect, and it was no different today. It was a lot of work moving, but got through it. Definitely glad to be done. Well, I'm not completely done. I have to go back next weekend because I don't actually turn in my key and everything to like next weekend, and so I was gonna go back next weekend and like deep clean the apartment and everything. Like, I like to deep clean the apartment because I like to turn things in the way that I found them. They provided me a clean apartment, and so it's like, why not do your best to deep clean and just make sure it's real nice, just like they gave it to me. And I know they're gonna have like the maids come in and clean off everything, like deep clean it themselves, but my thing is, why don't what's wrong with trying to make their job easier? There's nothing wrong with that. They're gonna walk in that apartment and be like, what? This apartment's basically already clean. We really don't have to do much of anything. And that's just me. That's how I operate. And so, yeah. Not completely done, but mostly done. Really, what I want to talk about is weddings, right? Weddings. I was put on notice to a trend of people financing weddings, and that to me is pretty ridiculous. I think for me, I can honestly say that I'm too cheap to have a wedding. Like, if I was to get married to somebody, I don't think we would have a big fancy wedding. I'm just too cheap for that. Why do I need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on one day when I can just go down to the courthouse and I guess sign some papers or whatever and get married that way. It doesn't have to be this huge. And look, I understand the want to have a huge celebration. I mean, you're getting married. I mean, that's a significant day. The day that you're getting married, that's a significant day in people's lives. And so it's like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a wedding, but I'm just saying, me personally, I just think I'm too cheap to do that. And there's no way I would finance a wedding. These weddings are expensive. I'm hearing $10, $20, $30,000 for a wedding. And it's even worse when it's like you don't have the money to pay cash for that. But even me, I'm not dropping $30,000 cash on a wedding. I just can't do it. It's like, why not? Like, I guess my philosophy would be, right, if if I was to get married, what I would do is I would say, okay, hold up, I'm right by a train track. There's a train coming. 1 second. Here's what I would do. Like, say I was getting married, right? What I would do, say I had the money, right? Thousands of dollars to, spend on a wedding, right? What I would do is I would say, hey, and I would tell my wife, hey, why don't we take the money that we would spend on a wedding and invest it, right? And I think that that's such a genius idea, and it's not an idea that a lot of people think about because, I know we want to live for today. We want to live for the big moment, right? But what happens when that moment is over? What happens when, the wedding is over? Reality is going to hit. And it's like, why not already kind of put yourself in a position to be ever so slightly ahead financially by putting the thousands of dollars that you would have spent on a wedding into some sort of investment, right? I don't know. Like, am I not thinking this through all the way? Like, am I being too cheap? Because, like I say, I'm too cheap for a wedding, but am I being too cheap here? I know some people might say this. Well, it's not all about the money for the wedding. It's about the experience. It's about the memory. It's about having a grand celebration for one of the best days of your life. I get that. But it's like, why not okay, let's sacrifice. Let's get married at the courthouse, save that money, and invest it, right? Whatever investment it is. Not something that's too risky either. Something that's relatively safe, because no investment is 100% guaranteed, of course. Why not take that money, right, and put it in a relatively safe investment? And in the future, we'll be glad that we did that. 10, 20, 30 years down the line, we'll be glad that we did that. Right? I guess I don't live for today. I don't care about the whole huge wedding thing or whatever, right? I don't care about any of that. getting married, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with going to the courthouse and getting married. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Right? But a big fancy wedding, I just don't see myself doing it. Especially, right? Especially in this economy. This economy full of uncertainty. I mean, the dollar keeps decreasing in value. I mean, we can't afford to just drop 20, 30, I've heard $40,000, $50,000 on one day. Right? Now, a honeymoon, that's cool, taking a nice vacation. I'm always going to advocate for traveling and vacationing if you have the money to pay cash. I'm against financing vacations too. Like I say, cash, cash, cash on everything. Right? That's just me personally. That's my philosophy. Except for a home, of course. But everything else, cash. Car, cash. Vacation, pay cash. Right? Appliances, pay cash. What else people finance out here? Really anything else. Car repairs. Car repairs, that's tricky. Some of these places, these car repair places, like offer financing. I think that if you really, really need the car and you don't necessarily have the money to buy a new one and you have to go into debt, you have to finance a car repair, then hey, that's just what you have to do to keep the car running. Because not having a car, especially in a city that is very like a, what do you call those cities where you need cars? I guess what's the word? Car dependent city. When you live in a very car dependent city, yeah, you kind of need that car to keep going. So you may have to finance that, but otherwise pay cash for that if you have the cash, of course. But it is interesting how these car repairs are getting more expensive too. But anyway, back on subject about the wedding, right? Weddings, right? I'm too cheap for a wedding. Like, I know I can't be the only one out here. I know to some people that's not a good thing. That's actually bad to some people. Like, oh, you wouldn't spend on a wedding? What's wrong with you? You're being way too cheap. No, because, like I say, my solution would be to take that money and invest it. That money, that thousands of dollars you'd spend on a wedding. And of course, if you have to finance it, you might as well just head on down to the courthouse and get married that way if you don't have the money for it. Right? We have to make different financial decisions than what we would have done 20, 30, 40 years ago. Times have changed. America has changed. Right? It's time to be cheap. It's time to be frugal. It's probably the only real way you're actually going to make it in America nowadays. It's by being cheap and frugal, because getting these crazy car loans, financing all this stuff, everything's expensive. Food is expensive, insurance. Remember, when you finance a car, you got to get comprehensive coverage, and comprehensive coverage is not cheap. It's expensive. It's costly. Right? Weddings. At the end of the day, weddings, I guess weddings are cool. I can only remember going to like one wedding in my life, and that was a long time ago. It was like a long time ago. But 2024, huge fancy wedding, you're gonna go in debt for it because it's such a special and happy day. But what happens when that day ends? Now you're $30,000 in debt. Then the honeymoon, because if you don't have the money for the wedding, you probably don't have the money for the honeymoon. So you're going to finance the honeymoon. That debt just spirals and spirals. And remember, you're in debt, you're going to keep paying interest. So you're actually paying more than what you originally thought you were going to pay if you didn't think about interest for that fancy wedding and nice honeymoon. But if you have the money, or whatever money you have, you just put it in a savings account, invest it, right? 10, 20 years into your marriage, y'all are going to be more than likely in a better financial situation. I mean, even just saving the money alone. Just think about that before we have weddings. And that is why I am personally too cheap for a wedding. I just can't do it. I can't do it. You know, I just can't do it. Can't do it. Weddings. I'm too cheap. I'm sorry, I'm too cheap. Any of y'all feel the same way as me? Let me know in the comments below. Hope this video was relaxing. Hope this video also inspired some thought. But anyway, hope you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll have something uploaded Sunday. But yeah, thanks for watching.